your home for Ducks basketball.
I think we have talent. We have some good experience.
Duarte to the basket, the slam. Omarui for three,
I think we have enough talent to have a very competitive team.
Oh, and a steal and slam for Williams.
I think we've got as much talent, if not more, than we've ever had in our game.
Mikesell fires, hit. Only right corner three, another volley ball.
The Ducks have done the double championship for the second time in 3 years.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Visit your locally family-owned and operated Carl's Jr. today. Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. From the Country Financial Studio, alongside Terry Jonz, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and welcome to the second floor of the Casanova Center, our Country Financial Studio. Going to be a lot of fun to talk a little basketball. Terry Jonz, Joey Mack. Terry, I'd shake your hand, but instead we'll do across-the-room elbows.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, buddy, and hey, a pretty good season so far for the women.
Yeah, so far. By the way, I look at the mask on, and people are going, even after the pandemic, Terry, please,
Keep the mask on.
Yeah, keep the mask. Okay. So, yeah, they're doing okay. Great text by you to me right as the game ended against UCLA, the loss that, hey, they did it with the two starters are out.
Yeah.
Sedona Prince and Taylor Chavez. Who, by the way, Taylor Chavez is back in town. Got to go through protocols here, how much practice she will get. But it sounds from Coach Graves that she's going to be with the team.
Good news. So if you've just joined us, the first Basketball Coaches Show of the year, we've got a lot to talk about from the Country Financial Studio. But the first note is the men are still on schedule to play at 8 o'clock at Colorado, and the Ducks are hoping to buck the trend of being 0-7 in the Dana Altman era in Boulder. But also the women's basketball game has been moved up. An 11:30 a.m. tip-off in my hometown of Santa Cruz, California, actually. A little bit odd on Friday. Give fans the update.
Kaiser Permanente Pavilion or something, or gym, or what is it?
Pavilion, I think.
Is it? Yeah. I think it opened 7-8 years ago or so. It's fairly new. It's like a high school size. 2,500 fans. So
G League for the Warriors.
Yeah, G League, right? The Warriors are there, and it'll be kind of cool. But they were scheduled for 6 originally, as most of you know, and from what I understand, all the teams, I assume San Jose State, Stanford men and women from San Jose State, I don't know, are there any other colleges in Santa Clara County, need to use that facility to get out of the county because of the restrictions so they can play games. So they had to shuffle things, and that's why it got moved up to 11:30. I know some fans, it's number 1 against number 11. It should be on ESPN and all that. But, hey, it's not 2020 anymore, but we're still having the ramifications of
feels
all
like
of that. So,
2020.
Let it go. We'll enjoy it. We'll have the game for you here on the Oregon Sports Network, and you can match up the audio with the television.
That's right. 11 a.m., the pregame show with Terry Jonz and Bev Smith. They'll be calling it remotely, as we've done for the majority of our games so far this season. All right, well, we're going to get into a ton of interviews today. So if you haven't joined us on Tip-Off Tuesday before, we've got Oregon men's basketball head coach Dana Altman coming up, Oregon women's basketball head coach Kelly Graves. Terry Jonz sat down with KG earlier. I sat down with Coach Altman this morning. We had a lot of fun with Coach Altman, actually. It was a very entertaining interview, and a quick preview of Nyara Sabally, who will be our player featured today.
Yeah, Satu's little sister. Yeah, she's just delightful. She's a different personality, a little more low-key than Satu, but a great player, great person, and enjoyed talking to her. In fact, I went a few minutes, and I had so much more to talk with her about. She's so easy to talk to, but you're going to enjoy that. That's coming up.
It's Tip-Off Tuesday presented by Carl's Jr. A timeout early in the show because we've got a ton of interviews for you. Up next, Dana Altman. It's brought to you by Carl's Jr. It's Tip-Off Tuesday. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
What's it like to grow with the O? At OCCU, we support Duck fans each step of the way by educating our youth with Lucky Duck Savings, celebrating independence with Duck Debit Checking, and rewarding members with the Duck Credit Card. That's how Duck fans grow with OCCU. Learn how you can too at myoccu.org/ducks.
Ninkasi Brewing is proud to be an official partner of the Oregon Radio Network.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
Independently owned and brewed in Eugene since 2006, Ninkasi invites you to slay the season with Slayer Winter Ale. On shelves now. Slayer is available in a 6-pack of bottles and in a 12-pack of cans for the very first time. More information at ninkasibrewing.com. That's ninkasibrewing.com.
This is Tip Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Tip Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Joining us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line is Oregon men's basketball head coach Dane Altman. Coach, it looks like you're about to give us a tour of the new offices at Matthew Knight Arena. I haven't gotten a chance to walk through it all yet. First of all, you got to tell us what that's like over there these days.
Well, they're very nice, Joey. Obviously, Mr. Knight and Penny, very generous, and they did a nice job. Offices are hooked to the practice gyms, so we can look down and watch the guys work out. And very, very nice setup. Very nice setup. So
if I'm
just getting a cup of coffee. It's been a long morning already, so I need something to keep me going.
I like it. Well, you know, Coach, I've often been told that it would be this job and working in the sports industry that would get me into drinking coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. If I'm not a coffee drinker yet, Coach, at 27 years old, am I ever going to be a coffee drinker?
I didn't start till I was about 35. It was. I think I did start when I went to Creighton as the coach, and for that I might drink some hot tea or something, but I never drank coffee until later on. So there's still a chance for you, Joey.
And now you're never going to go back, are you, Coach?
No, I enjoy it. You know, it starts every morning. Reva and I sit and have a cup of coffee, and so kind of hard to change.
I get it. I understand. My wife, avid coffee drinker, she still swears that she's going to get me into it at some point. Coach, where's the team at right now? Just kind of your general thoughts. It's the first coaches show of the season. You're 3-0 in conference play, riding a winning streak right now. You like where the team is at?
Well, I think we're making progress, Joey. I don't think there's any one facet of the game that, anybody feels comfortable with, but I do like the fact that, our guys are working pretty hard in practice, and they know we've got to make progress. They're realistic. They know that there's a lot of things we've got to do to have a better team, to be more consistent with our offensive execution, with our defense. We're still giving up too many easy baskets. Our physicality on the boards really has to improve. So, our guys recognize the fact that, we've made progress, but there is a lot more that we've got to do.
Eugene Omoruyi, Coach, can we go back in time a little bit and talk just about his journey to now being one of the leading scorers in the Pac-12? What was the process like in getting him on campus? What'd you like so much about him coming from Rutgers? And how valuable was it to even though he was banged up last year, be with the team to get acclimated to your program last year?
Well, Eugene's a student of the game. So, I mean, he watched those games last year, and really picked them apart, what we were doing well, what we weren't doing well. He came to practice every day and sat there and really tried to lock in on what was going on. So, again, he's, he really thinks the game through. He's a student of the game. And, I think getting his knees healthy really helped him, not only physically, but mentally, knowing he could just go out there and give it everything. And, it wouldn't be painful then or painful the next day. And so, he's done a tremendous job for us. I love working with him. I think there's a lot more there. That's the exciting thing. I think he's going to really improve his game. I think he can improve his passing. His assist to turnover ratio's got to get better. He's got to cut down on some of his turnovers and keep making, good basketball plays. But no doubt he's a big part of what we're doing. And when Big Dante went down, now we've got to use him in different ways. We're hoping to bring Big Dante along, and he was making that progress, playing 18 minutes a game, getting us, 9 points, 6 rebounds, shooting 66% Dante was, so he was making the strides that we wanted him to make. And, we were hoping by middle of January, into early February, Dante would be ready to take over some games, but like he did a year ago. But we just got to keep working with him, and he'll be back. Hopefully those knees, he's having surgery, and he'll bounce back from that. And it's just too bad for him, and unfortunate that he does have to go through this. It's the bad part of athletics, Joey. Injuries are, I think, the only negative of being an athlete. That now he's got to go and rehab, and it's a long grind.
It's a long grind, I imagine, mentally too, Coach. Is that the focus now for N'Faly moving forward? You guys really want him to just kind of hit that mental game hard in the rehab process physically as well?
He'll have to study the game, watch a lot of film, watch the games, and and then his rehab will be a long process. But right now, the thing he can do is learn to appreciate the game. Learn to watch and see, how we want to play the game. And I think that'll really help him.
While we're on the injury front, Coach, I know a lot of fans curious about Will Richardson and his path back to being healthy. We talked about how injuries are just the worst part of athletics. How's Will doing and in his process to try and get back on the floor?
Will's doing great. He's studying the game. He's at every practice. He's encouraging the guys. Really helping with Big Frank, our new guy, and trying to bring him along and talking to him. So hopefully, they're going in Monday, I think, to get the cast off, and so I hope everything goes well. But he's anxious to get going. Will's a competitor, and he's anxious to get back out there and play.
Coach, similar to Eugene Omoruyi, Eric Williams with the team last year. We've touched on it a couple times in our pregame interviews, but his story as well, the value of being in the program already, and just seems like Eric Williams is such a competitor, plays hard for your squad.
No, he's done a good job. I think he's our second leading rebounder, and shooting at a good percentage, competes really well. He floats a little bit on defense on some possessions. We got to get that straightened out. But other than that, he's doing a lot of good things, and real easy to work with. And he's a big part of us hopefully having a good year.
You got 4 guys right now in the starting lineup, Coach, that are 6'6". 6'6" seems to be the magic number for you guys. We've touched on it a little bit. Just the athleticism of your wing seems to be a big advantage for the squad this year.
Well, it is. With Chris and LJ and Eric, those 3 guys, and you add Eugene, gives us the ability to switch a lot of screens, and those guys can all play different positions offensively and defensively. So the versatility that gives us is really good. And, if we add Will to that mix a little bit at 6'4", 6'5", it really gives us even a little bit more. Although Amari's done a good job, and so is Aaron and Jalen at front in the post and keeping the ball out of there pretty well. So, no, I like those guys. They give us, like I said, versatility, and offensively we can run a lot of different things with them.
Real quick, Coach, to go back to a pro duck now, Peyton Pritchard had 23 and a nice night last night, and it looks like fans in Boston have just already completely loved what they've seen of Peyton Pritchard. Just that's got to be cool for you and your entire staff and this program to see him having success early on in his NBA career.
Well, he is off to a great start, and it doesn't surprise us. We knew that he was ready. We knew that he was real anxious to get going. And so, again, it doesn't surprise us at all that he's off to a great start. Really happy for him. It's a long NBA season, and there'll be ups and downs for his rookie year. But getting off to a good start and knowing that you belong, is really important. And, his preparation and his work ethic, allowed for him to do this. This isn't a fluke, Joey. This isn't, he's just getting off to a good start, a fluke. He earned this. He worked his tail off and he prepared, and his workouts this summer, he prepared himself for this. This is preparation in action. And, again, I'm really happy for him, but again, I am not surprised because I saw him working out every day this summer, and, he's been getting ready for this for 4 years.
Bigger picture for a moment, Coach. The NCAA announcement yesterday that the tournament, for the most part, all going to be in the Indianapolis area. I feel like that's the safest way to do things at this point, right? Just your thoughts on how that's going to look come March.
I don't know how it's going to look, but I agree with you. I think it's probably the best way and the safest way for us to get the tournament in. You travel one time. It's not a bubble, but it's similar to a bubble. And, I just think, who knows what the next few months are going to bring. But as far as looking ahead and trying to plan for a conference or a national tournament that we can go through without teams getting mixed and getting kicked out, I think it gives us by far the best opportunity. And so I think it's a great decision. I think they do have the venues in Indianapolis and around Indianapolis that it can be a very good tournament. Obviously, the players will miss the big crowds that we're used to and the energetic crowds that we're used to. But I think for us to run a tournament and complete a tournament, it by far gives us the best opportunity.
I have to ask you one not so serious question, Coach, because I just feel like it's 2021. We got to bring a little bit of happiness forward. Have you enjoyed not wearing a suit courtside this year, Coach?
Well, I never have wore a suit. I take the jacket off right away, and so I've always coached in the shirt. I've done that basically always. So those jackets were always kind of confining, and I sweat bad anyway. All right. So the white shirt is harder to see the sweat. And if I wore a jacket, I would really perspire. So it just worked out better. It is more comfortable with the tennis shoes, but other than that, it's not too much difference.
I think it's I've gotten a kick out of it, Coach, because I have a well-documented history of it. There's a reason I'm a radio guy and not a TV guy, right? Like, I'd prefer not to wear the shirt and tie and all that. And I just loved how across the country it seemed like every coach was like, This is the chance. We can go to the Polos. And I had to have a little bit of fun, so thanks for bearing with us, Coach. Before I let you go, just tough road trip coming up. A matchup of 2 top 20 teams in the net ranking coming up on Thursday with yourself in Colorado. Just a couple thoughts on the road trip, Coach.
Well, Colorado at 7-3 has played a very difficult schedule. At Kansas State, at Tennessee, at Arizona, at UCLA, at USC. They got 3 of the tougher road games out of the way already in the conference. They went 1-2, but, played them tough. And so, we know we're going to have our hands full. We've struggled at Colorado. That's been, the one spot that's really been tough on us. And so we know it's going to be a tough game. And they're talented. And they got all their guys back from a year ago. So it's a very experienced team. And Tad does a great job. So it's going to be a tough game. We know that. And, I think our guys will be ready. And, just going to be one of those games we're going to have to play well.
Oregon men's basketball head coach Dana Altman. Coach, thanks for always taking the time. Appreciate it for the first Coaches Show of the year. And we'll catch up with you for a pregame chat coming up on Thursday. Always appreciate the time, sir.
All right, Joey. Take care.
All right, we'll get a quick timeout. When we come back, Kelly Graves going to be sitting down with Terry Jonz. That's next on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. Back to the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
In the mood for a charbroiled double cheeseburger for just $2.99? Have a BLT, the Carl's Jr. way. Crispy bacon, fresh lettuce and tomato with cheesy charbroiled beef. Plus creamy ranch and more charbroiled beef. It's the new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger. That beefy enough for you? Get a taste of the new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger for just $2.99. Part of charbroiled double deals at Carl's Jr. Double up to feed your happy. Offer valid for a limited time at participating Carl's Jr. restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
More than ever, you're looking for the perfect getaway. With gourmet food, your favorite games, and a beautiful lodge, book the perfect getaway at Spirit Mountain Casino, the Northwest's premier entertainment destination. Go to spiritmountain.com.
You're listening to Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Welcome back to Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. Have the BLT, the Carl's Jr. way, the new BLT Double Ranch Cheeseburger, part of the charbroiled deals at Carl's Jr., just $2.99. Carl's Jr. feeds your happy, bringing you Tip-Off Tuesday. Good chat with Dana Altman. I'm glad that I got to have a little bit of fun asking him about the more casual attire for him and the rest of the coaching staffs around the country. Though some coaches have elected to go back to the suit and tie, Kelly Graves has never gone back to the suit and tie. He's been in polos the last few years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he set the trend. I'm sure he's telling Dana, who started that, right? It was. And why not?
I love
it's
the
easy.
look. I love it.
I like it. Speaking of Kelly Graves, I got a chance to talk with him earlier today. Brought to you by Toyota, by the way. Let's go places. Here's our chat with Kelly Graves.
All right, talk with head coach Kelly Graves. And, Coach, the weekend, half of it was good, and the other half, but really the the loss to UCLA, I mean, Bev and I were down the stretch as this team came back from a couple 11-point deficits, tied it up. Said, you know what? No matter what happens here, how this game ends, this team grew a ton, and it really did, didn't it?
Well, I hope so. You know, I think we showed some character by coming back each time. But, you know, losses only help if you learn from them. And, you know, I'm just not sure we came in with the kind of intensity that was needed against a top 10 opponent. And, you know, but we showed it at different times throughout the game. But it's got to be consistent. I think we've got to learn that if we indeed want to be a championship program, every possession matters in those kind of big games. And I don't think we played with that kind of urgency.
How did the team feel in the post game, in the locker room? I mean, it's, you know, your first loss, it's 27 in a row, going back to before some of them were even in the program, but you know, they want to hold up the standard. How did they take it?
Well, it was a disappointed locker room. No question about it. I think us as coaches, you know, I don't think I did a great job down the stretch of, you know, getting our team in position to win the game. And, you know, and I think a lot of them also knew that in a game like that, it was one possession here and one possession there. It was a missed block out at this critical moment. It was a missed layup or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, actually. At any point during the game, it was not sprinting back in transition, and they got a couple of easy layups. You know, all those kind of things, you know, in these kind of games are important. And so hopefully we learn from it, you know. And again, you know what, Terry, we were without Sedona. Now, we've been without her for a while. She's a game changer. And, you know, without Taylor Chavez, I think Taylor plays a big role in a game like that because she's so tough, mentally and physically. And, you know, and I think we really missed her on Sunday.
You know, I have a lot of fans and other people too ask me, you know, what do freshmen need to learn? I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got more experience at this than me, but it seems like when they come to this level that they got to figure out that they can't take a play off, that, you know, because they're the best player on the floor when they're in high school, let's face it. So coming to this level and how hard you have to play every play, it just always seems like that's an adjustment period.
It is. And, you know, and I think it gets lost on people. I think we've gotten them so spoiled now, Terry, that they just assume that they're going to, you know, people forget that Ruthie and Sabrina, well, those guys were freshmen. We were 8 and 10 in conference play. I mean, it took some time. It doesn't just happen. And I think you're right on. You know, 2 of the 3 things we put on the board before the UCLA game are keys to success. The first one was every possession matters. You have to stay focused every possession. And the second one was toughest team wins. And I thought UCLA was the aggressor, the more aggressive and tougher team. And so I think, you know, it's a lesson learned. And unfortunately, we jump right back into it and have to play Stanford, you know, the best team legitimately, not just by ranking, but legitimately the best team in the country. And so, you know, it's a little bit of baptism by fire, and they're going to have to learn really quickly. And there were times when we had several times on the court where we had 4 freshmen plus Nyara, and Nyara is really a freshman herself. So that's a young unit, the youngest in the country, trying to compete, and did compete against one of the best teams in the country.
All right, let's talk about Stanford here, and then I want to get to a couple of other things here while I've got you in this short amount of time. But as you said, they're number one. I've seen them too a few times watching video, and I'm like, wow, they are good. And you know, Haley Jones healthy now, almost averaging a double-double. She's really an addition to that team. That it looks like the old Stanford teams, doesn't it?
Well, it does. They just have a lot of weapons, and you know, obviously with Tara, you know, they're well coached, and you know, they just never beat themselves. You've got to knock them out. Now, we were fortunate to really blow them out 3 times last year. I mean, even the game at their place, it kind of tightened up at the end, but that was double digits most of the time. That doesn't happen. You have to knock them out. They're not going to beat themselves. So, but just so much talent. You mentioned Haley Jones. You know, Fran Bellaby is really coming into her own. You know, she's got 3 dunks, but she's more than just a dunker in open court. She's a good player and a tenacious rebounder. You know, it's funny, you watch them play, and Kiana Williams it seems like, is an afterthought sometimes. It's Kiana Williams. She might be the best guard in our conference. That's how talented they are. You know, the Hulls, Ashton Prechtel's not playing as much as she did last year, and she was the 6th player of the year by the media vote. And then Cameron Brink has come in and given them a real lift. So, yeah, they just have a lot of weapons. It's a good team.
Let's move on to a couple of things I want to cover here, because I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you. You signed 2 players in November. We kind of have gone past that, and this is our first tip-off Tuesday. But tell us about the 2 that you signed.
Well, Filipina is, 6'8" player out of – she actually is from Calgary, lives in Calgary, but she's at a prep school back in Toronto right now. Raw athlete, loves the game, has high goals and expectations, but she's going to be not a project, because I think she's got skills now, but I think she's just, somebody that's going to continue to get better and better, has a high ceiling. Taylor Bigby is actually somebody that we've been recruiting for a long time. She is exactly what we need. She's a long guard, about 6 foot, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, the Nevada Gatorade State Player of the Year last year, 3-time state champ. She's a winner, tough, is great in transition, and a really good athlete, great defender. And I think she's got a professional ceiling. She still needs some work offensively. What kid doesn't? And, but I think she's going to bring a lot of intangibles that we need, athleticism we need, length at the guard spot, and a really good defender.
All right, Nyara Sabally, I got a chance to talk to her yesterday. The little sister of Satu, but she's not so little, and she's quite a player. Tell us about Nyara.
Well, I'm really pleased with, what she's done so far. I just didn't know what to expect this year, because it's been 2.5 years, or had been 2.5 years, since she played in a game. And she's just really played well. Is an excellent defender. That is not lost on us. It might be on other people, but she can defend all 5 positions, and has shown that she's our best interior defender. But offensively, she continues to improve. I mean, she does some things that, not a lot of people can do. She can get a rebound and go coast to coast. She's a good passer. And she's getting better at finishing. And, it was funny, in the UCLA game, there were several times when she got the ball down low, there were 3 players on her. She was double and triple teamed pretty much most of the night. So, just and a tenacious rebounder. She's got a big ceiling. She's got a chance to be a great pro, just like her sister.
All right, Coach. And I want to give you congratulations on your contract extension. I know we don't need to talk about all that stuff, but I know I speak for all Duck fans. We're glad you're going to be around for a long time.
Well, I am too. You know how much I love the University of Oregon and our fans, and just everything about this place. And so I'll be around to bother you for many more years, big guy.
I think it's the other way around as far as the bother, but I thank you so much. We'll talk to you down in Santa Cruz, I guess.
Stanford's new home court.
All right, there you go, head coach Kelly Graves. Santa Cruz, the home of Joey Mack.
That's right.
So is it good luck if you're – I think there's going to be some Joey Mack
I
rub-off
so.
And good luck for the Ducks down at Kaiser Permanente Arena, the home of the Santa Cruz Warriors.
The C-Dubs.
The C-Dubs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's the Santa Cruz Warriors, but everybody calls them the C-Dubs.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elgin Cook used to play there for quite a while.
And was really, really good there.
All right, we got to take a break. We got to come back, and had a great chat yesterday with Nyara Sabally, the kid's sister. She's even, I think on her Instagram it says Sabally Jr. or something, so I guess she's kind of having fun with it too. I didn't ask her about that.
Why not?
But had a good talk with Nyara. That's coming up next here on Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to really volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
Ah, it's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor-charged characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
This is Tip Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a
stadium.
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Tip Off Tuesday, brought to you by Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. I may do that on the way home.
Why not?
Why not? I love Carl's Jr. I do. All right, Nyara Sabally, the kid's sister. Want to find out what Satu's doing? Because they talk all the time. And I said, hey, what's Satu doing? She'll tell you. Here's Nyara.
Well, Nyara, it's good to see you rather than seeing you have to rehab at practices. It's nice to see you out there playing. It's got to feel good to you.
Definitely. It definitely feels good. Yeah, it's amazing to be back on the court and not in the rehab room, and being able to practice instead of watching.
And the rehab once is hard enough. Doing it back-to-back years, very, very difficult. I don't think people realize what you go through, but it's a lot, isn't it? And the mental part's got to be difficult as well.
Yeah, definitely. The first year, it was definitely hard physically because I didn't know what I was getting into. But the second year was hard mentally just because physically I knew what I had to do to get back where I wanted to be. But it was just the mental aspect of knowing that I was out another season and wasn't going to be able to practice with my teammates and play basketball.
And you and Sedona rehabbed together, at least for a year. And I know you guys became great friends. And
yeah,
of course, she's so hard to get to know anyway, but I'm sure you would have anyway. But that helps to have a rehab buddy.
Definitely. It helped a lot. It helped me get through the whole last year just because I had somebody by my side every step I went. And I was getting stronger with her in the weight room. I had somebody to talk to because she went through the exact same thing. She couldn't play either. 2 years is a long time not to play basketball. So it was great to have her by my side.
What was it like for you two the very first game? You hadn't played, like you said, for a couple of years, 2.5, or then the very first game. I mean, there wasn't a big crowd, so that maybe helped a little bit. There was no fans, but still, you're out there and you're competing for the first time for a while.
My God, it was amazing. It was such a great feeling to be out on the court again after such a long time. It all went by so fast, though. Now that I look back at it, it was such a fast game, and at the end we just looked at each other and we were like, that was it. This was the game we've been waiting so long for. But it was a great feeling.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that you were born in the United States as well, here in Oregon. Satu in New York City, and you in Oregon, right?
Yeah, we were. My mom had a family friends here, and she visited a lot. She also worked here partially, so it was just, I guess, a coincidence that I was born in Oregon, and now I go to school in Oregon.
And you have some friends or relatives up in Portland, I think you said, right?
Yeah, I met them when it was where I was born. The family friends of my mom, And I met them for the first time on my visit here, actually. And it was really funny because she was like tearing up, and I really didn't know who she was because I was a baby, so I didn't know her. But it was funny because she was like the first person to hold me when I was born. So it was kind of cool to see her and to get to know her. That was really nice.
Yeah, well, she's friends with your mom, and you're her mama's baby, so that,
Exactly.
I can understand. And when you get older, you'll understand that. I don't need to tear up. No, I'm kidding. Growing up in Germany, and also visiting Gambia, where your dad is from. Your mother's German, and your dad is from Gambia. Those two places. I mean, some of us will never get to be in those places, but to you and Satu, you travel all around the world, and so what's that like? What was it like growing up in Germany?
It was amazing. I really enjoyed my childhood in Germany. It was definitely different than Eugene, just because it's a bigger city like Berlin. There's always something to do. I grew up in a like big household, like a lot of siblings, so it was never boring. But yeah, my like childhood was great in Germany.
Okay, if I said, Nyara, fix me your favorite German dish, or maybe what I would like. Well, you don't know what I like, but what's a good German dish? What's your go-to for a German dish to eat?
I don't really particularly eat German food like that because like my mom never really cooked German food. But one thing I recall is, which we always called it a German food because my dad wouldn't eat it. It was potatoes with spinach on the side and eggs, and like a fried egg. That's like a really popular dish in Germany that a lot of people eat. Just like in general, potatoes.
Wow.
A lot of Germans like potatoes.
That's not the answer I expected, but I don't know what I should have expected. When did you start playing basketball? How old, and what you kind of followed Satu's footsteps, right?
I started basketball, I believe I was 8 years old. And it just kind of happened. We were our first coach saw us on a playground, and she was like, "Oh my God, you guys are tall. You should come to a basketball tryout." So Satu went, and she liked it. I didn't go at first because I just didn't want to. Then eventually I went to, and I hated it at first, but I just kept going because Satu went, and I kind of wanted to do it too. And then eventually, I started falling in love with it, and ever since then, I've just been playing basketball.
Now, you've just gotten a taste of American basketball, or at least Pac-12 basketball, but you've seen 2 years of NCAA basketball with being around the team and watching the games. But the difference in styles between European basketball and here in at least NCAA college?
I would say the biggest difference is how physical the game is. I've noticed at the beginning, I kind of really struggled with the physicality of the game. It's just different. You play against really strong people here and tall people. In Europe, I always was one of the tallest, and now I'm one of the smaller posts on my team, which is kind of funny to me. But yeah, I would say that is the biggest difference, that people here are really physical.
Pandemic. For everybody, it's been difficult around the world. And for you as student athletes, I know you got to kind of keep your pod there with your roommates. And so if anything does happen, that it doesn't go throughout the team, and that's got to be difficult. And then you have online learning that you're having to do. But how difficult are both of those things? I mean, you're a college student. You're not getting the full college experience, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's definitely been difficult. Just the fact that we have to kind of isolate from other people. We're always kind of worried that we are around too many people, so we can't meet with friends we want to meet with, and our days kind of look the same, so it's kind of a little boring. All we do is wake up, go to practice, and come back to our apartment and just hang out here. I'm fortunate to have roommates I'm really close with, so that makes it a little easier. And like the learning, like the online school has been really hard too, just because it's like hard to motivate yourself to like sit at at your computer all day and like actually try to learn something. So it's just been really hard, but like we just have to like do what we got to do and like get used to it. But I'm definitely looking forward to classes being in class again, hopefully soon.
Who are your roommates?
My roommates are Taylor and Jazz, and one of our managers, Josie.
Josie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty good roommates.
Yeah.
Satu, before I'll let you go on this, because I know everybody wants to know how Satu's doing. I mean, we follow on social media and follow what she's doing in Turkey, but I know you talk to her all the time. But she's missed. Tell her she's missed by everybody here.
Yeah.
But how is she doing?
She's doing really great. She loves it in Turkey. She loves the pro life. She has a lot of fun. She's playing great overseas. And she gets to eat a lot of good food in Turkey, which I'm kind of jealous about. But yeah, she's doing really well.
Yeah, well, tell her hi for us. All the Oregon fans, I'm sure, would concur as well. But we miss her a lot. But we're glad we got Nyara here. You're playing great, and I know here we're talking the day after the first loss, but you guys are doing just fine.
Thank you.
You guys, that's going to be a great year. Just keep plugging away. So thanks for the visit, Nyara. And
of course, thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Sounds.
All right, there you go, Nyara Sabally. Yeah, she's a good person, good people, absolutely.
Good family.
Oh gosh, yes. She and Satu are a little bit different personalities, but both in a good way.
Just a little different.
And they're pretty good players. I don't know, they're all right. All right, we'll take a break, come back and wrap it up. Tip-off Tuesday after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
What's it like to grow with the O? At OCCU, we support Duck fans each step of the way by educating our youth with Lucky Duck Savings, celebrating independence with Duck Debit Checking, and rewarding members with the Duck Credit Card. That's how Duck fans grow with OCCU. Learn how you can too at myoccu.org/ducks.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
More than ever, you're looking for the perfect getaway. With gourmet food, your favorite games, and a beautiful lodge, book the perfect getaway at Spirit Mountain Casino, the Northwest's premier entertainment destination. Go to spiritmountain.com.
You're listening to Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr. Feed Your Happy. Joey McAterry, Jonz. Great start to the first coaches show of the season. Every Tuesday, you can join us live in the afternoon, 2:30 to 3:30. We'll do the show live on the Goducks YouTube, the Oregon men's basketball, women's basketball Facebook pages, Oregon Sports Network Twitter. And then if you ever miss the interviews, you can subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast on your podcast service of choice. You might be tuning in on one of our Oregon Sports Network affiliate stations. And finally, every interview we're going to post to the Oregon men's basketball and Oregon women's basketball Twitter accounts as well. So a lot of different ways to get to know all of the student athletes and the coaches. We're trying to cover all of our bases here.
We're going to be everywhere.
That's the hope anyway.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. The schedule update for the Oregon women, though. The women moving up a little bit in their big matchup with Stanford on Friday.
Yeah, number 11, they dropped from number 8 in the AP poll to number 11. But the net, that I guess you had a nice talk with Lisa Peterson, senior women's administrator, that they're number 4. But hey, you got an opportunity. It's a bounce-back game. You don't really want to go play number 1 on the road, but that's the way it is, and you never know. They're good enough to go beat Stanford, and Stanford is really good. They are legit number 1. I've seen them play several times, and they are. And then that's at 11:30. Tip-off, 11 o'clock pregame show, and then Sunday it's over in Berkeley to take on Cal at 1.
1 o'clock, Terry Jonz and Bev Smith having the call there. And then we've got a huge couple matchups for Oregon men's basketball. You heard Coach Altman talk about how injuries are the worst part of sports. Well, Colorado's been one of the more healthy teams across the Pac-12 this season, and they've already played a couple of the tough road games, as you heard Coach Altman mention. 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's a late one. 8 o'clock tip-off, a 9 o'clock local time tip in Boulder. The Ducks joked, and Coach Altman joked, that he's going to have to take a nap in order for that late tip-off to work for his system.
No coffee?
Probably a lot of coffee.
Only in the morning, I
probably, guess. But Coach did say, he joked with the media today that, hey, the guys don't care. They'll play late. It's the coaches that he's worried about. That's a tough place to play, though.
It is.
Boulder has been a not-so-fun trip for Oregon men's basketball. Dana Altman is 0-7 in that building. Meanwhile, on the other side, just to give that some context, when Tad Boyle's Buffs have come to Eugene, the Ducks are 6-1 against them. And the one loss that the Ducks have, in the words of Dana Altman, the Ducks blew that game. So all in all, this has been a good matchup where the home teams had the advantage. I kind of feel like that's how this is going to go this season as well. The home team, even without fans, that's going to matter.
It is a tough road trip, though.
It is.
To Utah. Both are at elevation.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, dwell on it, but it's there.
It's something.
It is.
It's something. Affects everybody a little differently. 7:30 pregame on Thursday, and then the Ducks will stay 2 days, actually, and play on Sunday. So we have a doubleheader on Sunday with Oregon men's basketball playing at 11 a.m., 10:30 a.m. pregame show. That's right. And then that'll roll right in.
When in Colorado, we'll all have a bison burger.
I like it. So the men at 8 o'clock on Thursday, the women 11:30 on Friday. Thanks for joining us for Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Carl's Jr.
In the mood for a charbroiled double cheeseburger for just $2.99? Have a BLT, the Carl's Jr. way. Crispy bacon, fresh lettuce and tomato with cheesy charbroiled beef. Plus creamy ranch and more charbroiled beef. It's the new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger. That beefy enough for you? Get a taste of the new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger for just $2.99. Part of Charbroiled Double Deals at Carl's Jr. Double up to feed your happy.